Yes, good morning, everyone. I'll be highlighting few concepts which are related to the module number 3, which is for basics of electrical engineering. So in this module number 3, so we will be highlighting on certain important concepts, that is related to single phase transformers and three phase induction motors. Okay, so first thing, whatever that comes to your mind regarding the transformer is it's a static machine. Okay, so can anyone define what is a transformer first? Can anyone define? What is a transformer? Anyone in the meeting, what is a transformer? Anyone? Hope I'm audible, right?
Sir, I'll
Yeah.
just give a try, sir. It's a pair of two inductors in
Yeah.
induction coils which have mutual inductance between them, and it is used
Hmm.
to increase or decrease the electrical energy.
Exactly right. So you didn't told like you were correct, but there is one word which you missed out. Did you say the word static?
Oh no, sir.
Yeah, so that is the major difference between any rotating machine that is there and also the transformer, which we call it as a static machine. Okay, so in case of a static machine like a transformer, which is generally involved in bulk power transmission, and it will be involved in the transfer of energy, and you will be having the magnetic circuit. So one magnetic circuit will be present and two electric circuit, that is the side to which the supply is connected is called as primary winding, and the side to which the load is connected is called as the secondary winding, right? So in case of the single phase transformer, so the principle of mutual induction will come into picture here. So where the transfer of energy takes place from one coil which is energized, that is the primary coil, and the next coil which we generally call it as the secondary coil, which is connected to the load. Okay, so now I need to define, or I need to derive an expression for the EMF, that is the EMF induced in the coils, respective coils, that is E1 and E2. Okay, so we call it as the EMF expressions which are there, and we'll be having these EMF expressions written like this, which is E1 and E2. So which is E1, that is the primary EMF, and E2, which is the secondary EMF. All right. So I can have these EMFs which are there, which is E1 equals 4.44 into F into phi m into N1. Okay. So that is what the derivation is all about. So we have to derive. If you can take the notes with you right now, whatever the study material that I've already posted. So you need to derive an expression for the EMF of a static electrical AC machine. Okay, so it is a static electrical AC machine. So here we are going to have transformer and there is no frequency change. Okay, so what you can see here is, if you see it properly, so you have no change in the value of the EMF. I mean, sorry, that is the frequency there. Okay, so in this EMF expression, so we are not having any change in the value of the EMF, if you can recall, right? So, yeah. So now what I will be doing is, so I have this coils which are there. Okay, so this is N1. We call it as N1. Okay, and next we'll be calling it as N2, right? So this one we call it as N2, and this is where the primary supply, that is a single phase AC supply, is connected, and this is where we'll be having the load there. So this is the load condition what we have got. All right. So now what you can do is, so you will be having this EMF expressions E1 and E2 that has been developed, and we'll be having E1 to be written as a 4 point, yeah, sorry, a 4.44 into F into phi m into N1. So E2 that would be equal to 4.44. Okay, so 4.44 F phi m into N2. So we start from the basics here, that is d phi by dt. Okay, so I have the sinusoidal expression what you were writing. So this is the sinusoidal expression there. So here what we'll be doing is, so the maximum value of the flux which is linked with the coil is taken into consideration. So this would be T by 4, okay, and this value would be equal to the flux, okay, maximum value of flux, and this would be the alternating value of flux, that is phi m sine, okay, so phi m sine of omega t, okay, phi m sine of omega t. All right, so now what I got here is, so phi equals phi m sine omega t. What is the expression that is there in terms of the sinusoidal way in which you can express it? So you will be having phi which would be equal to, yeah, so this is phi, that would be equal to phi m sine of omega t. Got it? So this is the expression of it. Okay, so anything that you have in mind? So any doubts up to this point regarding the concepts here? So if you have any doubts, so do let me know. Any doubts up to this point? Anyone? Okay, so I got the EMF expressions here, right? So I got the EMF expressions where I can generally write it. Okay, so it would be quite easy for me to write it, and you can show the expressions here, which is written as E would be equal to d phi. So this value what you will be taking, so that would be phi m minus 0 divided by t by 4. Okay, so you will be finding out the average value of the expressions here. Okay, so you will be finding out the average values of the expression, and then you will be finding out the values which are there. Okay, so it would be quite easy for everyone to keep in mind that it would be relatively easy to find out what would be the value of the EMF. Okay, so any doubts up to this point regarding the EMF expression? I'll tell you how do I do it. Any doubt up to this point? Anyone? Any doubt? Yeah, so I have this EMF expression. So what I told you right now, that is phi m minus 0 divided by t by 4. So what is here, which is 4, 1 by t is taken as frequency into phi m. So this is the average value of the EMF. Now I want to have the relation between the average value and the RMS value. So what is the factor that I take? I take form factor, right? I take form factor, so that would be equal to RMS value divided by average value. Okay, so I take RMS value here, that would be equal to average value into form factor. Okay, so what is the form factor? I take it as 1.11, so that is 1.11 into average value. Okay, so I'll be getting 4.44 F into phi m. So that is the RMS value of the induced voltage that is there. So if I take E1, so that is the EMF included in the primary turns. So N1 is the number of turns in the primary. Number of primary turns. Okay, so number of primary turns. Okay, so how you can write E2? Anyone in the meeting can tell me how you can write E2?
So 4.44 F phi m into
Yes.
N2.
Yes, exactly. So I write E1 and E2 like this, which is 4.44 F into phi m into N1. See here, so you don't have any change with respect to the frequency. Okay, so only the frequency, if you take into consideration with no change in the frequency, and you have the flux, I agree to it. So, but the frequency is one thing is mandatory if you call it as an AC equipment or an AC machine. Okay, so that is where you will be having both the values of the EMF expressions as E1 and E2. Okay, so E1 that would be 4.44 into F into phi m into N1. So E2 would be 4.44 into F into phi m into N2. Okay, got it? So any doubts regarding this expression of the EMF? Any doubts up to this point? Because this is the fundamental. So you will be finding out the average value of the EMF. So you'll be finding out the average value of EMF that is there. So after finding out the average value of the EMF, so you will be finding out E1 and E2. Okay, so you'll be finding out E1 and E2. Okay, any doubts up to this point? Anyone who's there in the meeting? Navya?
Yes, sir.
ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದು?
Yes, sir. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ.
Okay, pa. Sorry. Fine then. So we'll move on to the next one, which is the values of condition for maximum efficiency. All right. So with that, I'll be highlighting regarding the derivation. So both the derivations are important. Derive the expression related to maximum value of efficiency. Okay, so we'll be finding out eta max. Okay, so what is the condition? Okay, so what is the condition? Can anyone recall what is the condition for it? What is the condition for maximum value of efficiency in a transformer? What is the maximum value of efficiency in a transformer? What it is? What is the condition? Mohan? Mohan HN? Megha? What is the maximum value? I mean, maximum efficiency. So how do you define input? Input would be equal to output plus losses, right? Input would be equal to output plus losses. Now, how do I carry out losses? What are the different losses in a transformer?
Hysteresis losses, iron losses.
Exactly right. So we have hysteresis losses and
Iron losses.
okay, apart from that, like in iron losses, we'll be having eddy current loss and hysteresis loss. Okay, so next we'll be highlighting regarding the concept of the copper losses which are there. Okay, yes, how will you find out the copper losses? Yeah. Okay, so you have losses that is including both the iron losses and copper losses, right? So in case of this iron losses, so you will be having again, which is hysteresis losses and eddy current loss. Okay, so it is minimized by the thin lamination sheets, and you should use a better grading material. And in order to minimize the copper losses, we will be having these copper losses exclusively for the current. So we call it as the variable losses. Okay, so depends on the value of current, we call it as the variable losses, and this one we call it as the constant losses. This one we call it as the constant losses. Okay, so once you have iron losses and it would be equal to copper losses, I can write it as PCU full load and PI. Okay, getting it right? So this one PCU full load, that would be equal to PI. Getting it right? So PCU, which means full load copper losses, PI meaning iron losses. All right, so this is how you will be finding out the values of the functions which are there, that is the iron losses and the copper losses. Okay, any doubt up to this point before we proceed to the derivation? Okay, any doubts up to this point, you can let me know right now. Okay, so moving on to the derivation part. So I have input, as I told you, that would be equal to output plus losses. So eta max would be output divided by input. Okay, so generally I define efficiency as output divided by input into 100. All right, so output would be V into I. Okay, so output, so it would be V2 into I2 divided by So input can be written as output plus losses, that is V2 I2 plus total losses which are there in the system. Okay, so that we call it as Wi plus the iron losses which is there, and WCU. Okay, WCU. So we'll be calling it as V2 I2 divided by V2 I2 plus Wi plus I1 squared plus I1 squared R1 plus I2 squared R2. Okay, so next what I'll be calling here is I'll be writing V2 I2 divided by V2 plus V2 I2 plus this Wi, which is called as the iron losses plus. So this entire thing I can replace it with the term which is there as the I2 squared R02, or we can call it as V2 I2 divided by V2 I2 plus Wi plus I2 squared RO2. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So we have a simple derivation where maximum value should be obtained. So the efficiency should be maximum in such a way that it is differentiated. So this value of the efficiency, it is entirely dependent on the current which is flowing in the circuit. So we call it as d eta by di2, that should be equated to 0 for maximum value of the efficiency. For the maximum value of efficiency. Okay, so that is what we'll be finding out, and we'll be having eta max, that is there. So you will be finding out as V2 I2, that is there, and you will be getting the derivative term here. So what you will be getting there at the end, I'm skipping certain steps and I'm writing it as Wi is equal to WCU full load. Okay, so I can also write it as WCU full load, that would be equal to Wi. Okay, so this is the final expression what I've got. So I'm skipping out certain steps here due to the time constraint, and you should be in a position to know what is the expressions that we have got here. Okay, any doubts up to this point? Anyone? So any one of the derivation will be asked in the examination point of view. Okay, so if you have any doubts, so do let me know right now. Any doubts up to this point? Any doubts, anyone?
So actually in my notes I have written the final expression as Wi is equal to R01 I1 square, sir.
Yeah.
That,
Yes, Navya, tell me. See, this is Wi, which is the iron losses, right? I can write it as I1 squared RO1, or I can also write it as I2 squared RO2. Okay, so these are one and the same. So even if you write I1 squared RO1 or I2 squared RO2, so which is one and the same. Getting it right? Right?
yes,
So this is I1 squared RO1 Wi, that is I1 squared RO1 which is there. So I'll be writing it regarding the primary side. Okay, so at the end you will be getting in terms of I1 squared RO1 or I2 squared RO2, it is one and the same. So it is referred to as a primary or referred to as secondary. So this one is primary reference and this one is secondary reference there. So any way in which you do it, so you will be getting the final answer here. Okay, anything apart from that? Anything apart from that? Anyone? Okay, so these are one of the important derivations that we have got. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that all these derivations are quite important, and one of the derivations will be surely asked. Okay, one of the derivation will be surely asked in the examination point of view. Okay, so let us move on to the next one. So I'll be covering these transformers, working principle, construction. Okay, so I'll be giving it as a self-study to you, so you have to go through it. So regarding the construction and the working principle. construction and working principle of the transformer, that is also quite important. Okay, so what is the construction material, so how is the working principle of a transformer, everything you have to keep in mind. Okay, so next what you need to do is regarding the types of transformers also. Okay, so highlight on types of transformers. Okay, so these are the topics which I'll be giving you as a self study. Okay, so these are the topics where I'll be giving you as a self-study concept. Okay, so any doubts regarding these theory concepts and the derivation which is there, you have to work it out, and you will be getting expressions which are related to the maximum efficiency of a transformer. Okay, so first is the maximum efficiency of a transformer. Next one, you will be finding out the expressions which are related to the functions, that is the E1 and E2, which is the EMF equation of a transformer. All right, so let us move ahead right now regarding the turns ratio. Regarding the turns ratio. Okay, so I call it as turns ratio, first one. So I can call E1 by E2, that would be equal to N1 by N2, that would be equal to I2 by I1. Okay, that would be equal to K. So we call K as the turns ratio. All right, so I call E2 by E1, that would be equal to N2 by N1, that would be equal to I1 by I2. All right, so I call this one to be K, which is also called as the transformation ratio. Transformation ratio. All right, so I'll be calling it as the transformation ratio there. Okay, so E2 by E1, that would be equal to N2 by N1, that would be equal to I1 by I2, and that would be equal to K. So I call this one to be the transformation ratio. So we know the EMF's expression that is there, and the output, or we generally call it as the rating of the transformer. Okay, so rating of transformer, rating of the transformer. So I call it as V into I. So which we call it as volt ampere rating. Volt ampere rating. Okay. So we call it as volt ampere rating of the transformer. Fine. So this is the transformer rating that we have got. So which is V into I. I call it as volt ampere rating of the transformer. Correct. So any doubt regarding this rating of the transformer, because I can write it as V2 I2, that would be equal to V1 I1. So the value of current that is there, so that is V1 I1 divided by V2. Okay, so V1 I1 divided by V2. So you can find out any values of voltage or the current in the primary or secondary. Certain things are known to you. So like a 20 kVA transformer. Okay, so and the current I1 current, that is a primary winding current. So I1 and I2 are called the full load values of the current. Okay, so I1 is called as full load value of the current. So I say it is 12 amperes. Okay, so you can find out I2. Okay, so you can find out I2. So this is more or less like the rating of the transformer. You can find out any values which are there. Okay, so and you can find out the other value where you will be finding depending on the rating of the transformer here. Okay, so you can find out if V1 is also known. So V1 is some 230 volt. Okay, so V1 is some 230 volt. You can generally find out, and you will be having, I'm just giving you an example here. So this is related to a simple example. What is that? So it might be any values of V1 that is there, that is I1 V1. So you will be able to find out the secondary full load current or the primary full load current. Okay, easily. I1 and I2 are called the primary and secondary full load current. Full load current. All right. So that is how you can find out what is the expressions of it. Okay. So moving on to the next one, we have the efficiency of the transformer, eta max, that would be equal to according to the concepts here. So I'll be highlighting regarding V2 I2 cos phi 2 output divided by V2 I2 cos phi 2 cos phi 1 phi 2. Okay, so cos phi is generally whatever that is there, plus you will be having Wi plus WCU. Okay, Wi plus WCU. So WCU is taken as the full load copper losses or half load copper losses. I'll be taking it as X. Okay, so which means at load. So now if the load is also varied, I'll be having the change in the values of the output also. Okay, so you will be having that is X into kVA into cos phi, X into kVA into cos phi divided by X into kVA into cos phi plus iron losses which is there and X squared into PCU. Okay, so this varies as the square of the load. Okay, so I'll be taking the losses which is there, that is X squared into PCU. All right, so this is how I can define the efficiency as X into kVA into cos phi divided by X into kVA into cos phi, that is there, plus pi plus X squared into PCU. Getting it right? So that would be multiplied by 100. Got it? So any doubts up to this point regarding the formulae that is there? Any any doubts? So these are some important formulae that comes to the mind. Okay, so and we have one more thing. Okay, so this is the maximum value of the flux and Bm into A. Okay, so where Bm is the maximum value of the flux density, maximum value of flux density, maximum value of flux density, and A is the area of cross section in meter squared, or we'll be calling it as millimeter squared. Okay, so this is in terms of Weber per meter squared, and the flux we call it as in Weber. Okay, so we call it as Weber. All right, so phi m, that would be equal to Bm into A. So this phi m, this is the maximum value of the flux, maximum value of flux. Okay, so any doubts regarding these numerical problems, what I'm going to solve right now, because this forms the basic in understanding the concepts which are related to the numerical problems what we are solving later. Okay, so solving in few minutes right now. Any doubts? Anyone? Do let me know if you have any doubts. Any doubts up to this point? Anyone? Okay, shall we proceed to a few typical numerical problems which are there? Shall we go ahead right now? Any doubts? See, I want the session to be interactive, and I want everyone to interact with me such that it is a mutual benefit for both of us. I'll get to know that you are understanding the concepts, and you will also find better in revising the concepts which are there. Any doubts regarding any concepts here?
No doubt, sir.
Okay then. So anyone? Ramesh is there in the meeting? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay then, no problem. Fine. Okay. Module. One minute. Okay, got it. Yes. Yes, so it's the notes what we have here. So we'll be having the step-up transformer. So I'm just giving you a brief way in which the question can be asked. Single-phase transformer expression. Okay, so you need to make a note of all these things and revise one more time, which is there. So you'll be having the transformation ratio, and we have input volt amperes. What I told right now, which is V1 into I1, that would be equal to V2 into I2, and later. So we have got, I have already circulated some numerical problems list. Okay, so it would be quite easy for you to understand the concepts which are there in that list there. Okay, so it is also there in the Google Drive link. You can go through it and see here. So if you see this numerical problem, so if it is written as 440 bar 230 volt, the primary voltage is 440 and the secondary voltage is 230. So which we call it as low voltage winding, and this one we call it as high voltage winding. Okay, so and we got number of turns in the secondary, N2, meaning it is the number of secondary turns, which is 525 turns. Okay, so and the area of cross section which is given as 15 centimeters squared. Okay, so we call it as 15 centimeters squared. All right, so how do you proceed this numerical problem solution? So it is a typical problem that we have got. So let me write down here. Okay, so let me I'm switching screens quickly. So I got V1 as 440 volt and V2. So E1 or V1, it is one and the same. E2 or V2, which is one and the same. It is V2 is 230 volt. All right. So what I've got here, which is N2, which is 525 turns. N2 is called as the 525 turns. All right. So now what I'll be doing here is, so I'll be getting the value of the flux phi m, that would be equal to Bm into A. So I got A as 15 centimeter squared. Okay, so I got it as 15 centimeters squared, right? So that is the area of cross section, isn't it? So what is the one thing which is left out again? We have to find out what is Bm, and we have to find out phi m also. So phi m we can easily find out. So we know that E, that would be equal to 4.44 F into phi m into N1. Okay, so next we have got E2 as 4.44 into F into phi m into N2. So which one you will be using? So I'll be using N2 here. So I know N2, I know what is E2, I know what is the frequency. If frequency is not given, you can take it as 50 hertz, and you have to find out what is phi m. Okay, so that would be E2 divided by 4.44 into F into N2. So we want to find out what is phi m. So substitute all the values here, and you will be finding out what is phi m. Okay, any doubts regarding phi m? So after finding out phi m, okay, so that would be equal to Bm into A. So I want to find out what is Bm. That would be phi m divided by A. Okay, so I'll be finding out the Bm that is given in terms of Weber per meter squared. Getting it right? So I'll be finding out Bm as Weber per meter squared. I will be calling it as Weber per meter squared. Also, it is called as Tesla. Okay, so I'll be calling it as Tesla then. Getting it? So it's a simple problem what you can easily keep in mind. So I've also shared some numerical problems. You can go through it. You can find it easier to understand. And as I already told you, I'll be having the volt ampere. So V1 I1, that would be equal to V2 I2 here. Okay, so it's a simple problem, and you can find out certain things easily if the rating of the transformer is known. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts regarding any concepts here? So I'll be able to highlight any doubts. For example, you will be having the rating of the transformer. So Q, I'll be calling it as the rating of the transformer. Rating of the transformer, that is 10 kVA. 10 kVA. So all right. So if I know what is V1, if I know what is I1, so I can find out what is V2 if N1 and N2 are known to me. Okay, and also phi m. Okay, and the frequency is generally 50 hertz here, and I can find out what is V2. So from V2, I'll be finding out what is I2. So I1 and I2 is nothing but the full load values of the current, which is in the primary and the secondary winding. Any doubts right now? So because I'll not be able to give you the solutions to all the problems, instead you can see it in the Google Drive link what I've posted. So I'll be guiding you how to do the problem. Okay, so without that it will be very difficult and it takes a lot of time, and you have to take your calculator with you and start working out with the problems. All right, so see to it that you are not going to waste time regarding these numerical problems. All the problems here in transformers, you can easily score them. Okay, so you can easily score out of out in transformers module, and you will be finding out certain concepts which are also easier. Okay. Yeah, so you will be having all these expressions when I come to losses and efficiency of a transformer. So how do you carry out the derivation? So as you can see, I1 squared RO1, so you can see here, so you can write it as the primary winding, and this one I2 squared RO2, so you can write it as the secondary winding there. So see here, yeah, so what Navya told is entirely correct. So I'm writing it with respect to the output there. So you can write it with respect to input also. So you have to change the differentiation parameter there. Okay, so I had differentiated with respect to I2, getting it right. So here it is I1 squared RO1, that would be equal to I2 squared RO2. So I have differentiated with respect to secondary, getting it right. So in case if you differentiate it with respect to primary, you can do this. So I suggest you to follow the technique which is given in your class notes. You can quite easily find it out. Okay, so very important problems, these 4 problems, whatever that is there. So just I'll give you the hint how to solve it. So it's a 25 kVA transformer. Okay, it's a 25 kVA transformer, and next what you are having, so you will be having the 200 bar 2000 bar 200 volt. Okay, so 2000 bar 200 volt. So next you will be having 350 and 400 watt. Okay, so you'll be having 350 watt, which is the iron losses, and copper losses at full load, that would be at 400 watt. Okay, so what you will be seeing here, so you will be calculating the efficiency at unity power factor. So where the efficiency at full load, and it will have a power factor of 1, and here you have a half of full load, or we call it as half load, that will also have unity power factor. Okay, so what you will be having is X, that is the fraction of the loading condition, that is fraction of loading condition. Okay, so X is fraction of loading. So we have X is equal to 1, which is for a full load, X is equal to 1 by 2, that is for half loading condition. Okay, so next you will be finding out the efficiency with both the power factors at half load and full load, that would be equal to unity. Getting it right? So any doubts regarding anything? So I'll give you the solutions now. Yeah, so this is the problem what I told you right now regarding the efficiency, which is with respect to concept here, and it would be quite easy for you to make a note of it. So what is the rating of the transformer? That is 25 kVA. This is the rating of the transformer. So PI and PCU, you can find it out, or you can, it is already given there. Okay, so there will be a problem where you will be finding out the iron and the copper losses, that will discuss it later. So you will be having the efficiency at full load. I'll be writing it as efficiency at full load. So X into kVA into cos phi, X into kVA into cos phi divided by X into kVA into cos phi plus pi plus X squared into PCU, X squared into PCU. So what is X here? The value of X is equal to 1. So which is 25, which is the rating of the transformer, into 1. That would be divided by 1 into 25 into 1 plus what is PI? So you should be keeping it at 0.35. So it should be in kilowatt. and this one is 0.4 kilowatt. Okay, so 0.35 kilowatt plus x squared, that is 1 squared into 0.4 kilowatt. All right, so that is where we will be finding out the efficiency at full load. Now, efficiency at half load, if you want to find out, that would be x, which is half. I can write it as 0.5 into 25 into 1 divided by 0.5 into 25 into 1 plus 0.35. So this x squared, so that is plus 0.5 the whole square into 0.4. Okay, so can anyone tell me the answer for both the cases?
The full load, in case of full load, it is 95%, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, for half load. What is for half load? Yeah, anyone in the meeting? What is the answer for half load? Anyone? It is 0.5 into 25. Yeah. Yes, Ranjana?
96.52.
Exactly right. So, which one will give you higher efficiency? Is it full load or half load? Eta full
Half
load.
load, sir.
Sorry? Which one will give you better efficiency? Is it full load or half load? What is the value of eta FL that you have got? Is it 97%, right? What is the value that you got? 97, and this one is 96. So which one will give you better?
Full load, sir.
Yeah, so eta full load greater than eta half load, right? So you'll be getting somewhat around 97% for full load, and half load you'll be getting 96.52%, if I'm correct. Okay, so 97% is also greater than 96.52. Generally, in full load condition, you'll get a better efficiency when you compare it with other loading conditions. Okay, getting it right? So these are certain numerical problems what you will be finding out quite easier to solve, and it would be better that you make certain concepts, you can make a note of it. Okay, moving on to the next one, we got the three-phase induction motors. Okay, so we call it as three-phase induction motors. What are the concepts that come to your mind when you call about when we highlight regarding three-phase induction motors? That is the first one. We call up concept of rotating magnetic field. Concept of rotating magnetic field. So this is very important derivations that is there. Okay, so concept of rotating magnetic field. And next one, we have got the rotor construction. The rotor construction that we have got. So that is one important thing. So we have got slip ring induction motor. Okay, and we got squirrel cage induction motor. So we have squirrel cage induction motor and slip ring induction motor. Okay, so next we have got some simple numerical problems which are there, so you can easily understand. Okay, so this is a derivation which will be asked. Explain with the help of a vector diagram. Explain with the help of a vector diagram the concept of rotating magnetic field in case of a three-phase induction motor. Okay, so in case of a three-phase induction motor. So next we have got a rotor construction, that is squirrel cage and slip ring rotor construction. And next we have got numerical problems, and generally if I take any machine, so you will be having principle of operation of it. Okay, principle of operation of it, and it is also important. Okay, so I will be highlighting most about the concept of rotating magnetic field. Okay, three-phase rotating fields that are developed due to the stator currents, and then we got rotor construction, and then we'll be solving some simple numerical problem. Okay, so Yes, is there any concept that we had left out in transformers? If you want me to highlight it, I will highlight just before going to three-phase induction motor. Any concept you want me to explain it one more time? Any concept which is there? Anything that we have missed out? Okay then. So moving on to the next one, we have this concept of rotating magnetic field. Okay, so we have got this concept of rotating magnetic field. So you have to find out what is the resultant flux on the acting on the rotor conductors that are produced due to the alternating values of fluxes in all the three phases in the stator winding currents. So which is IR, IY and IB. Okay, so IR, IY and IB. So that is there. Let phi R, phi Y and phi B be the alternating values of fluxes which are produced, and this is the stator winding currents, which is IR, IY and IB. So the fluxes can be represented instantaneously as phi R, that would be equal to phi M sine omega t, phi Y, that would be equal to phi M sine omega t minus 120 degree, and phi B, that would be phi M sine omega t minus 240 degree. So this phasor representation, you can see it here. So we are having 120 degree displacement with respect to each other. So the resultant flux will be given as phi r or phi t. So we'll not write it as phi r because we got r phase there. Okay, so we'll be writing it as phi t, which is the total flux which has been developed. Okay, so we want to prove that the total flux would be phi m times 1.5. So that is 1.5 times the value of the maximum flux which is there. So we are going to have different conditions where we are going to see the representation. Okay, so we have phi r, phi y and phi b, and we are going to have phi b as minus 240 can also be written as phi r is phi m sine omega t, phi y is phi m sine omega t, that is there, and minus 120 degree, and phi b is plus 120. Okay, so minus 240 can also be written as plus 120 degree. So we are going to have this expressions, whatever that has been written, so which is for one complete cycle. So similarly, you can do it for the other one also, and you will be finding out the expressions which are related with respect to all the different angle instants. So we'll be having theta equals 0 degree, theta equals 60 degree, theta equals 120 degree, theta equals 180 degree. Okay, so those are the things which you need to keep in mind, and then you have to make a note of it. Okay, so at all the instants of time you will be getting phi t, that would be equal to 1.5 times the maximum value of the flux. Okay, so any doubts up to this point, anyone? Very important derivation, you will be getting it. So 100%, if a derivation needs to be asked in three-phase induction motors, so you will be getting concept of rotating magnetic field. Okay, fine. So any doubts up to this point, anyone? I have completed the concept of rotating magnetic field. So let me move on to the next one, which is the numerical problems on three-phase induction motors. So numerical problems on three-phase induction motors, I'll be highlighting it here. So I'm writing it again. Okay, fine. So phi t, that would be equal to 1.5 times phi m. Okay, so phi r, phi y, and phi b. Fine. So up to this point, this is the important derivation which we consider. Okay, see, certain important things you have to make a note of it. I'll not be telling it again, even though it's a recorded session, you can keep it. So I want you to make a note of it and study more on the concept, because these 90 minutes of time, so I'll be not able to cover all the numerical problems with a detailed solution. So I'll be giving you certain idea how certain numerical problems will come into picture. Okay, so the next one, we got ns. Can anyone tell me in the meeting what is ns with respect to AC machine?
Synchronous speed.
Very good, very good answer. So what is the equation for it? 120f divided by p. Okay, so and we have got n, or we call it as nr. Okay, so what is nr? Rotor speed. Okay, so rotor speed. So ns minus n divided by the reference what you take. Okay, so the reference what you take here, so you will be finding it as the synchronous speed into 100. So that will be the percentage of the slip. That will be the percentage of the slip. ns minus n, or we can call it as nr also, divided by ns into 100. Okay, so you need to take the reference as ns, which is ns minus nr divided by ns into 100. Okay, so ns minus nr, so that is, we call it as a slip speed. ns minus nr, we call it as the slip speed. Okay, yes, so these are the important formula that you need to keep in mind. And we got fr. What is fr? That would be equal to s into f. Okay, so where f is the supply frequency in hertz, supply frequency in hertz, and s is the value of the slip that is there. And what is fr? Anyone in the meeting? What is fr? Yes, what is fr? Anyone?
Frequency of rotor.
Yeah, we call it as rotor frequency. Simple as that. So rotor frequency. Okay, so we have rotor frequency there. Okay, so all these formula, whatever I have written, we'll be using it to find out the value of the slip and the value of the rotor frequency. What is the rotor speed? What is the synchronous speed and all? Okay, for example, so you will be getting P, which is the number of poles. P is the number of poles in the machine, and we tell frequency to be 50 hertz. Okay, so say for a P is equal to 4 pole machine, what is the synchronous speed? Prajwal Arun, what is the synchronous speed? Prajwal? Nishchita? Nishchita, what is the synchronous speed? Yeah.
So it is 120 into f divided by 4.
What is the answer?
300.
Huh? 300.
Sorry, 1,500.
Okay, it's 1500 rpm. Okay, so you can see that it is a 1500 rpm machine for a 4 pole. Okay, keeping frequency at 50 hertz. So if I want to find out what is the rotor speed, nr, so if the given slip is 3%, okay, given slip is 3%, that would be ns times 1 minus 3%, that is 0.03. What is the answer for it? What is the answer for rotor speed? $97 plus.
1455.
You know, 1004.
55.
1455 RPM. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. So what is the rotor frequency? S into F. Okay. So 3%. 3 divided by 100 into 50. 1.5 hertz. Okay. So these are some typical problems which will be asked if numerical problems for 4 marks, okay, or for 3 marks. So they will be asking certain problems where you have to find out a slip. Okay. So if the slip is not given, say I have the rotor speed of 1455 RPM, or we can call it as 1470 RPM. Okay. So if a given speed and the frequency and the number of poles, okay, so you can find out what is the slip. Okay. So S would be equal to Ns minus Nr divided by Ns into 100. Okay. So I'll be calling it as Ns, which is 1500 minus 1470 divided by 1500 into 100. Okay. So what is the slip? Percentage of slip? Yes, what is the percentage of slip?
2%, sir.
Yes, exactly. So that would be equal to 2%. Correct. So if you find out slip, it would be easy to find out the rotor frequency also. It's quite simple. All the problems here are quite simple, and you can easily find out what is the answer for it. Okay. So it would be better that you make relevant practice to the problems that are given there. So you will be quite easily, you can score more in this module number 3. So you can expect only 3 derivations are there. Okay. So I'll tell you right now. So 3 derivations are there. So can you tell me what are those 3 derivations? What are those 3 derivations?
One is transformer.
Next one.
Efficiency.
Yeah. So eta, that is efficiency of a transformer. Okay. Next.
Concept of rotating magnetic
And
field.
Very
about of
good.
RMF.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we'll be highlighting all these concepts as I've already done it in class also, classroom classes, and in crash course class also. So EMF equation, you can expect efficiency of the transformer, and also numerical problem. If you find it, you will be finding quite easier one in case of efficiency, and the concept of rotating magnetic field, and a numerical problem. So EMF equation also, the simple problem where you will be finding out number of turns, flux, okay, maximum value of flux, and from flux you can find out maximum flux density and what is the full load current and all. So all these problems you will be finding it easier. Okay. So any doubts regarding any concept here, you can let me know. Any doubts? All these things are important things. Okay. So it would be easy that you start reading those concepts, whatever I have told you. Okay. So it would be quite easy that you will be making note of certain concepts and highlighting few concepts. And I've also recorded certain sessions related to this module number 3. Okay. So you can find it in the YouTube channel, and you can see it again. All the things, all the recorded sessions are there. So you can go through it once again and understand it better. Okay. Any doubts up to this point, anyone?